the basic point with Trainium 3, and you've moved quickly to bring it to the real world, is cost, performance, efficiency over the prior generation, but also over NVIDIA GPUs, over Google TPUs. I think what people are trying to understand is that ramp part I was talking about, when real world customers use it beyond this anchor customer of Anthropic, which relies on it currently.
Yeah. Well, look, we're quite excited about Trainium and Trainium 3 in particular, as you mentioned. Excited to get it into customers' hands. And part of where we have a benefit that we can bring to bear is, as you mentioned, getting it into market quickly. And it's because we control that full stack. We control the silicon development. We control the data centers that it land in. We know that full environment, and we can land that in very large clusters for people to take advantage of that. And the performance that we're seeing out of it is quite incredible. And so we're anxious and excited to get more and more people using it.
I've been able to go inside Annapurna Labs and look at the engineering work between the first generation of Trainium and the second. It wasn't just the accelerator, it's at the server level as well.
That's right.
But part of the surprise of today is this: you appear to be committing to an annual cadence of new generation of Trainium. How do you keep that up?
Well, the key thing that we're focused on is making sure that we can iterate on the technology as fast as possible. The desire and the hunger out there for more power and more compute is almost insatiable. And so the more we can take an existing power footprint, an existing set of capabilities, and bring more and more compute into that for customers to build cool applications and cool environments, and to get value from that, that's what we're focused on. And so we're going to be pushing that envelope as fast as we possibly can to get those new capabilities out to customers.
The pitch for Trainium in both the training and inference use case is that it's a great deal. You know, cost effective, performant.
Yeah.
At the same time, you went on stage and said AWS is, quote, by far the best place to run NVIDIA GPUs.
Yeah.
How are both
Definitely
possible?
Well, both are possible because that is a great environment to run accelerators and compute in. And so we've been working for 15 plus years with the NVIDIA team and Jensen and team to deliver outstanding capabilities for our customers. And for when you're running a large cluster of NVIDIA GPUs, people will tell you AWS is the best place. You get the best performance, the most stable cluster, the best capabilities out there, and broad scale. And that's why folks like OpenAI and others are running on AWS. And we have that choice. And so for others that want to be able to take advantage of Trainium, and there's some use cases that are best for Trainium, there's other use cases where NVIDIA GPUs are going to be your best option. We want to have all of those available. And so we think that if we can continue to push the envelope on what Trainium can deliver for customers and make sure that we are supporting the latest and greatest from everything that the awesome team at NVIDIA is delivering, that's going to be the best outcome for our customers.
The plan for AWS is to basically double capacity by end of 2027 to around 8 gigawatts. Do you have a sense of how you apportion that capacity in-house silicon and server designs of Trainium versus NVIDIA GPUs?
We're just going to keep pushing as fast as we can, and we'll see where customer demands drives us as we go. And as you said, we're massively adding capacity. In the last year alone, we've added 3.8 gigawatts of capacity, and we'll continue to add more and more over the next couple of years. And we'll let customer demand drive us a little bit on what they're looking for and what they want. And that's what we always listen to, and that's what we'll continue to listen to.
The focus with Trainium in the time I've been able to interact with you and talk about, not just the accelerator, but at the server design level, there's a lot of benefit to the customer. When does that benefit start accruing to AWS in terms of profitability? Like if it's such a good financial proposition, you must be able soon to say we're making a lot of money on this.
Yeah, well, you're already seeing some of the benefits accrue. You see things like Bedrock growing really, really rapidly, and you see Trainium powering that under the covers. And we announced today that more than half of all tokens and inference done in Bedrock are done on Trainium 2 servers under the covers. And so you're already seeing that benefit come. You see the models that we're building in Nova and Nova 2 start to get better and better over time and be accelerated by Trainium. And so we really think that there's a whole bunch of dimensions on which both our customers, our partners, and our own products are going to get accelerated, all from Trainium.
Every time you come onto the program, I always offer the audience opportunity to pose a question to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest in AWS, right? Many of your customers span global technology. Actually, most of the questions were about Anthropic, much that wasn't much said on stage. I think people are trying to understand what is the benefit and advantage AWS offers to Anthropic while they are ramping Trainium through Project Rainier, but also ramping their TPU allocations as well.
Yeah. Well, our partners at Anthropic, our partnership with them is incredibly strong, and it's never been stronger. And we do a ton of collaboration with them. And as I mentioned, through Project Rainier, it's a huge collaboration there to go build their current generation models. And all their models run today and launch on day one on top of Trainium and on top of AWS, which we're incredibly excited about. And we'll continue that partnership for a long time. I think from them, they have a huge demand for compute. And so they'll go to other places where it makes sense to round out their compute needs, because they just have such massive needs for compute. And they have customers in other clouds as well. But we're definitely their primary cloud provider and closest partner for sure.
Supply constraints. So Anthropic is supply constrained. They can't get the compute they need. We've talked about the ramp on NVIDIA GPU and in-house silicon. Is there a supply constraint element with AWS? Are you able to get the chips that you need?
Yeah, I think there's always, anytime you see an industry that's growing as fast as this is right now, when you think about AI and model development and chips, there are going to be constraints no matter what. There is more demand than there is supply. Sometimes it's in chips, sometimes it's in power in data centers, sometimes it's in different parts of that. At some points it's networking equipment. At some point it's transistors, resistors, or whatever it is. And you look at the entire supply chain that is needed to ramp up at such a massive rate. Right, never before has the technology industry ramped at the rate that we are right now, and so that there are always constraints. And so it's not necessarily there is necessarily one constraint where it's like, wow, I can't get NVIDIA chips. We can get NVIDIA chips, and actually, Jensen and team have been incredibly supportive and great partners in helping us get capacity there. It's not that you can't get power. We're getting power all over the place, but it's just we're ramping all of these places in such rapid rates that always there's a constraint in that system, and it'll change every month. You ask me of what the current one is.
Throughout the day, we were speaking with your team about the idea we're moving from AI assistants to AI co-workers, particular focus on the agentic offering that you've done. You're in the camp of people, if you don't mind me saying, that sees basically 90% of the value in enterprise coming from agentic technology. Do you have any data or evidence to support that all of your customers are ready for that?
Yeah, I don't think all of our customers are yet ready for that, but they're excited about it. So, I think it'd definitely be an overstatement to say everybody's ready for it. And part of that is because it is going to take change, right? People are going to have to change how they think about work. They're going to have to change their process flows. They're going to have to change some of the things about how they get work done. It's not just going to be a magic wand that's going to come in and magically get them to get value. But almost everyone that I talk to definitely sees that that's the path. The agentic the power of agents is what allows customers to actually get that work done. And when they see that efficiency gain, they see them able to accomplish things they weren't able to do before, that is when it's worth it to go make these changes. And so there's going to be work for people, and it's going to take some time, right? We're 20 years into the cloud journey, and still only a fraction of workloads have moved to the cloud. So it's going to take time. It's not like people are going to magically switch, and I think it's going to be really fast.
Matt, we just have 60 seconds. 20 years into the cloud journey, when I touch down in Vegas, everyone accepts AWS #1 in terms of scale infrastructure. They question, is AWS #1 in AI? Just in the 30 seconds we have left.
Yeah, I think it's a question that we got a lot 2 years ago, and not that much a year ago. And today, I don't think we get that nearly as much. It's just people that are kind of playing the same tapes. We have a huge choice of models. We see when customers are actually moving their workloads to production, they want to run those AI workloads on AWS. And that, to me, is the biggest signal. When we see our customers, they say, I ran proof of concepts in a lot of places. When I want to move it to production, I want to run on AWS. And that's the thing that we hear over and over again, which makes me think we're actually in a great position.